Welcome to Spiritual Ambition, where we tune in to awaken our divine nature and explore the provocative inner force compelling us toward our fullest potential. If you've achieved external success but feel a deeper calling, if you're tired of dimming your light to fit in, and you know there's a more powerful way to live and lead and love, you're in the right place. Host Donna Bond is a best-selling author, modern-day high priestess, and catalyst for personal transformation. Together, we're birthing a new paradigm of loving leadership, integrating our humanity with divine wisdom as our individual awakening serves collective evolution. Here's your host of Spiritual Ambition, Donna Bond.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back, welcome in. Today's episode number 25 here with Spiritual Ambition. We're going to talk about the way through, crossing the 4 fields of transformation to come home to yourself. So if you have ever felt stuck between that annoying space in between the safety that feels like it's suffocating you and the unknown that feels like it's terrifying to you, then you don't want to miss our episode today, because we're going to illuminate the 4 fields of transformation and the passages, which I'm going to call them initiations, that we need to cross over or cross through to be able to get from one field to the next field, so that you can stop second guessing yourself and start trusting your soul's guidance to be able to bring you home. The discomfort that you're feeling, it's not really a problem. It's a portal. And when we start relating to it that way, then we can begin to see the signs. So today we're going to look at the spiral of expansion. And this was created from my personal experience of traveling this spiral. My intention is that you can begin to recognize where you are on the spiral and heighten your awareness around what's around the next corner, so that you can get your nervous system to chill out, you can get your mind to relax, and you can begin to let your intuition lead with clarity and courage and trust in your soul's path. I'm Donna Bond. I'm a soul catalyst and a spiritual psychology life coach. You're watching Spiritual Ambition, where we tune in to experience our divine nature. We begin every show with an inward attunement. So wherever you are, unless of course you're driving or operating heavy machinery, I want to invite you to go ahead and close your eyes. I want to welcome everyone in. Amy, hello. Wendy, KK, thank you for being here. Mairead, lovely to have you. Mandy, Kim Princess. My grandkids call me Princess Donna. It's kind of funny. It's kind of a funny story, because their other grandmother, she grabbed the very cool name. Oh my God, I can't even think of it right now. That's not a good sign. In any event, my youngest grandson, he's now my oldest grandson, came up with this idea to call me Princess Donna. And I didn't want to get called Grandma or Nana or any of those. So Princess Donna sort of fit the bill for a long while. And he's going on 18 now, and they still use it. So it's kind of a fun family joke. So hello, Kim, Princess. All right, everyone. Nona. Thank you, Paul Bond. Nona. It's all coming in. That's a cool name. I would have used that, but Raquel got it. It's her daughter. So, all right, everybody, we're going to close our eyes. We're going to just tune our attention inward. We are going to call in our energy from all of the places that it's been out working on our behalf, letting go of anywhere that your energy might be out there running interference, managing something energetically that you're not even present to. With every inhalation you take, I want you to just call back your resources. Take a nice cleansing inhalation and just imagine that all your energy circuits that are plugged into so many different things, people, dynamics, relationships, activities, with that great big breath, you're just pulling in your energy. And on the out breath, noticing what it's like to be in your body, sending a blessing of gratitude to your vessel, to this beautiful disguise that you're wearing through this incarnation. Noticing the beat of your heart, maybe touching your skin, putting your hands together, noticing the feel of your fingers touching one another. This is how we become present to where we are, to what we are, to who we are, returning our attention into the now moment. Infinite universe, we call ourselves forward into your loving. We ask to be cleared, filled, surrounded, and protected. With the clear white light of living love, we ask that any karma, negativity, imbalance, any sadness, constriction, contraction, any emotional pain, any frustration, any fear of the unknown, any gripping, withholding, fretting, worry, panic, anxiety, any energy or vibrational frequency that is vibrating at anything less than the frequency of divine loving that may be residing anywhere in our consciousness, mentally, physically, emotionally, subconsciously, or energetically. We ask that anything that is out of resonance with our divine nature be lifted and transmuted at this time, taken to the highest realms of light and sound, and dispersed back into the nothingness, into this space. Call in the power and presence of your divine nature, of your higher self, of your soul. And we only welcome those divine beings of light who love each one of us unconditionally, who work for the divine plan and who work for the light. We welcome only you into our sacred space here today. We ask for support and assistance in bringing forward healing, revelation, and wisdom of the heart that will resonate most profoundly with each individual here, whether they are live with us, present here and now, or watching the recording. We know in the cosmos there is no time. We are grateful for the technology that knits us all together from one side of the globe to the other. For this and more, we say thank you. So be it. Thank you, everyone. Carrie Dutton, your message is that you are a creator and you're more powerful than you remember. Everyone is. You know, if we're not creating, part of us is dying. And that's a truth. Part of our soul is compressed and suppressed when we are not allowing that aliveness to breathe itself through us in the unique, individualized expression of who each of us have come here to be in this life. So today we're going to talk about the spiral of expansion. And the reason that I love the spiral of expansion is because it's a great depiction of maybe the hero's journey is a good way to think about it, but it's the 4 phases and really the 4 fields that we continue to cycle ourselves through. And, in our linear minds, we always want to have a clear beginning and a clear end to things. And that's not really how transformation works. It happens in a spiral. And every time we take a lap around that spiral, we go up a little, we go out a little, and we go up a little, and we go out a little. And this is the nature of the universe, to go up and to go out and to expand. And so we recognize that we also are expanding in the same way that the universe is. And, I know when we look out onto the world, there's some disturbing things that are happening and some scary things that are happening. And it's easy to feel like we're going backwards, but we're not. We're just making a lap around the spiral. And when we make that lap around the spiral, sometimes we come into those dark places where the light isn't evident, but that doesn't mean that it's not there. It doesn't mean that it's not there. So we are going to send the light right now, because that is how we typically start our show, by intentionally bringing our hearts together and sending love and light out and around the world. And so if there is someone in your life that is struggling, or maybe they have a health challenge that they're dealing with, maybe they lost their job, perhaps they're having other financial instability or opportunities in their life. Maybe they're trapped in the first field, which we'll talk about, and I'll give you the color and the characteristics to that in a few moments. But in this moment, I would like to share the names of the people that have been submitted. And if there's anybody that you would like to drop their name in the chat, you can do so at this time. If you would like to include somebody in the container of prayers, the container of light that we hold collectively as a community here in the show, you can submit their name to Sacred Circle or Spiritual Ambition sacredlight.com, spiritual ambition sacredlight.com, and their name comes in to us, and then we give a live shout out. So today we're giving a live shout out to Betty and Bob, to Celia and Don. Light is being sent to Jeanette, to David, to all of the members of Ignite Your Light, to Carrie, Christine, Nicole, Hope, and Katrina. If there's anyone else, you can drop their name in the chat, and we'll just take a moment. We tune into our hearts and we just collectively visualize, using the power of our imagination, sending loving, upliftment, care, compassion, nurturance, freedom, clarity, and inner knowingness. That's what's coming through clear. Kim, thank you. Your daughter, Aliana, I hope I'm saying that correctly. We send the light to Aliana. Mm. It's easy to buy into the misbelief that our thoughts and our prayers don't matter, but they do. And when you call to mind someone who is needing your loving, trust me when I tell you they receive it. You might not ever know about it. They might not ever know about it, but some blessing is bestowed upon them. That I know for sure. All right. Well, the spiral of expansion, the spiral of transformation. So, the spiral is an important pattern, it's an important symbol that we recognize is in so many different places in nature. You know, it's really at every turn, it's from inside of a tree trunk to a changing weather pattern that is mirroring the swirly, circular, upward, outward shape of a spiral. Water going down a drain, a plant pushing up through the dirt and beginning to grow, it all does so in the form of a spiral. And I can remember my husband and I were hiking in Sedona. And, you know, Sedona is a vortex of all these interesting energies and portals. And the trees, as we were hiking up this mountain, we were seeing these trees that were all twisted because they were caught in the spiral of this powerful energy, this vortices that was a lot more evident in Sedona than sometimes when we see it in more densely populated areas like our cities around the country. So this spiral has different phases to it. And I like to think about everything in the form of energy because everything really is in the form of energy. And those different phases are actually different fields. And as I bring you through these different fields, I want you to sort of tune in to the different energies that you might be able to notice in each of these different fields. Because the first field that we're going to look at, which is called the comfort field, is not really that comfortable. It's not, just saying. It can feel heavy and dense. And the last field, this field of success, can feel quite light and buoyant and filled with inspiration, enthusiasm, aliveness. So I want you to also think about the energetic components of all this. So the four fields, I'm going to put up a graph here in a moment that you can take a look at, but the four fields work together with four passages. And each passage is sort of the action item, for lack of a better definition. This is the part that propels us from one field to the next. And so I like to think about these passages really as initiations because they are going to require our engagement. And the reason that they require our engagement is, you know, it's going to take us back to why do we bother to take a body, come here to human land, and have this crazy experience that we're having as a divine spiritual being having a human experience. Why do we do that? Why bother? It's nuts. Who would sign up for this? We sign up for this. The soul signs up for this because we are here garnering wisdom. And I know our local logical mind wants to believe that we're here for the information. We want the knowledge. And, that part of us, our mind, loves to get its hands on the knowledge and the info because it wants to be able to say that it's right and that it knows it. But what we're really here for is wisdom. And wisdom can only be garnered through experience. And so here we are in our life having experience. And as we propel ourselves and move ourselves through the path of transformation, it's going to require our engagement. It's going to require us to have an experience. And the reason that that is because life then can give us feedback. It's going to direct us. It's going to maybe give us a cosmic redirection. Maybe it's going to slam the door in our face. Maybe it's going to make the road rise up before us and we're going to walk down it with ease and grace, or dance down it, or skip down it. But we don't know until we're willing to take that step. And I just gave away the secret, because the secret to crossing the first passage is willingness. But why don't we do this? I'm going to ask my beautiful producer, Kelly, to give us the graphic on the screen. And I'm going to take us through the spiral of expansion. So here's the spiral. And what you're going to discover is that it keeps on going. And as I said in the beginning, we make these different laps around the spiral, and each time we expand. And in the field or the work of consciousness, I got a note from a client earlier today, and she said, I went back and I looked at my journal from 2 years ago. And it was very illuminating for her. She suddenly realized how far she had come as a result of looking back at that journal from 2 years ago. And this is what happens, is that as we expand our awareness and we heighten our view and we understand things from a different point, a different perspective, a different place in our consciousness, we see things differently. And transformation is really about changing our relationship to something. So we're changing our relationship to ourself, and we change our relationship to the challenges that we have along the way. We change our relationship to the dynamics of our heart. We change our relationship to our work. We change our relationship to our health. And as we begin to evolve these relationships, we evolve and we grow. So here on the spiral of expansion, I'm going to take you through each one of these fields. But you can see we start off with the comfort field, and then we go into the unknown field. And the unknown field is really the fear field, the fear zone. And that's why it's so hard to get out of the comfort field or the comfort zone, because nobody willingly likes to step into there. But it delivers gifts when we do it. The unknown field is then going to morph into the growth field, and then that's going to morph into the success field. So I'm going to take you field by field. Here's the first question that I have for you for contemplation. Have you ever had the opportunity to make a fresh start, but you retreated back into what you knew instead of following through into what you could learn? Let me know in the chat if any of this rings true, or if you have your own real life example. I don't think that we intend to end up in the comfort field, but we love familiarity. The learned part of us, the ego part of us, loves safety, security, comfort, and control. And anything that threatens safety, security, comfort, and control will oftentimes send us right back to where we started from. And that's why it's difficult for us to sort of get out of our own way sometimes. And once we set up camp, we've got everything dialed in. What's that expression that they use in the kitchen? Mise en place. We want everything in its place. We know exactly where everything is. We don't really have to think about it. We can just grab and go. We like that. We like that because it's familiar and it's easy. But what ends up happening in the comfort field is that we can feel stuck. This is a place where no growth is happening. And this is sort of a funny thing that I say to my clients. They probably hear me echoing this in their minds, like no growth ever happened inside your comfort zone. And that's really true. You know, you've heard this term, the beginner's mind. And when we show up and we think we know it all, we're kind of doomed, because right there, we lessen our curiosity, we stunt our interest in coloring outside the lines or exploring anything new or different. And it can really close us down to learning. So, some of the signs that could be getting your attention in this field is that you feel restless. You feel restless. There's a lack of really content. There's a lack of fulfillment. There might be a lack of clarity. Have you ever gotten a glimpse of a new possibility for yourself and your life, but you quickly dismissed it as maybe a crazy idea, and then you just went back to the same old, same old? You kept going along to get along, or you kept following to fit in. Anybody? My nervous system is sending me back where I started, from even with so much structure. Yeah, so the nervous system deregulation is a real thing. And we're not going to get too deep into nervous system deregulation here. However, I want to offer a couple of tools for that. And the first one is our breath. And the second one is to try to begin to notice the thoughts that are in our mind where we might be dreaming up a drama. And this is really going to take us into the next zone, where we're going to talk more about the fears. But the nervous system deregulation can prevent us from taking that step forward. But here's what I want you to remember. And I said this in the beginning, and I can't remember exactly who I said it to, somebody who wanted a message. Maybe it was Kim Princess, Maria Brophy. Much love to you. So nice to see you. Anyways, I'm losing my train of thought. Hello, everyone who is in the chat. It's so lovely to have you here. Our breath. Oh, I know what I was saying. And I want to remind everybody here who's watching, nothing outside of you, nothing is greater than what is inside of you. And we oftentimes forget that. And we give our power away to things that are outside of ourselves. And the minute that we do that, we take our life force sort of out of the vessel and we put it over there. We give it away. And then we can't use it. We need that life force. We need that energy, because it's that life force and that energy that is going to be the power behind the willingness that we can put forth to take us into the next field. So I just want to remind everyone to believe in yourself and to remember. And you can Google nervous system deregulation, and there are so many amazing people out there right now that are doing a lot of work in the field of trauma that can give you tips and tricks. And if your nervous system is deregulated as a result of trauma, then look into something like EMDR. If you need a recommendation, you can reach out to me. I'd be happy to give you an incredible therapist who does work with nervous system regulation and integration of being able to work with those difficult things that have happened in our past that are acting as those triggers preventing us from moving forward. The other thing I want you to know is that they are not insurmountable. And this is really something that you need to determine and to just decide for within yourself, that that was something that you went through and it can be healed. It can be dealt with. It can be transformed. And like I said earlier, transformation is about changing our relationship to something. So if you have experienced a trauma that is preventing you from moving forward in your life, by all means, begin to deal with that so that you can change your relationship to it. We can't change the past. The past is the past. The past has happened. There's really nothing that we can do about it. All we can do is learn to relate to that in a different way. All right. So, what do we need? And I want to tell a little bit of a personal story about this. I was in corporate land for 28 years, and in 2010, I was the vice president of sales and marketing for the Western region for a little hospitality company that I worked for. And we all lost our jobs in 2008, or maybe it was 2010. I don't know. Anyways, it was a long time ago. Me and 60 other people, they closed the company. That was the end of it. And this is life giving us a little boot in the ass without us opening our eyes of awareness, forcing us into that fear zone or that place of discomfort, or getting out of that comfort field into the next zone, which we're going to talk about in a second. I lost my job. I knew at that time in my life that I was done with the hotel world. I did not want to be in the hotel world anymore. But it was all I knew. It was all I knew. And at that time in my life, there was not one iota, not one cell in this body that believed or thought that I could do anything else. And that was a misbelief. You hear this term get thrown around, limiting beliefs. That was a perfect example of one of my limiting beliefs. So I present that here for you today. If you're facing some limiting beliefs, if you are ready to get out of the comfort zone, the comfort field, and you know it's time for you to initiate yourself in some way, then you have to find your willingness. And willingness is the secret ingredient that is going to give us the passage that we need from one field to the next. Sally, I've tried a lot to connect with my spirit guides, angels, and spirit world and my loved ones, but I've never had any luck. Any tips? Be still. this is the whole rabbit hole for me to answer that question. Look for the signs that the universe is giving you. This is the thing. The universe has your back, and the universe is always encouraging us. And I don't hear or see my spirit guides, but sometimes they'll roll something out in the middle of the street in front of me to make me stop and pay attention and turn inward and make a connection in my own consciousness about what it is I need to pay attention to, or what it is I need to see or hear or realize. So that is how. But we're talking about willingness. And are you willing to experiment with the different ways that the universe is speaking to you? Are you willing to experiment with the different ways you're being invited into the unknown zone, the unknown field? This is where the fear is, everyone. This is where the fear is. Sometimes the fears might be over something that seems as simple as making a phone call. Other times, the fears might be around investing hundreds of thousands or tens of millions of dollars in something. It might be, it doesn't matter what it is. All that matters is we cannot, will not, and do not get to success without passing through the unknown field. The first thing that we become aware of when we get into the unknown field is that a lot of the things that we were imagining would happen here, dreaming up a drama is how I like to articulate it. A lot of those things don't actually happen. And this is really where we have to work with ourselves to understand, what am I dreaming up? What am I thinking about that isn't really happening? Bringing ourselves back to the truth, back to our own presence, can help us land with what's real, what's actually going on. And when I lost my job, way back when in 2010, even though I wanted to be doing something else, the truth is it wasn't really time for me to be doing something else. So I found my way into another hotel as a big fish in a small pond. Is that how it goes? Yeah, because I kind of took a step down and left my VP role and went back onto the property level at the hotel level. And it felt like a step backwards in a lot of ways. And here I am a decade away from it. And I know that it was absolutely instrumental on my path. It was absolutely 100% necessary to support me in getting to where I wanted to go and where I needed to go and where life was ultimately calling me to. So, what are some other things that you can anticipate in this unknown field? Here we really are out of our safe zone because we're now navigating something that is not familiar. And this can actually be a place of excitement, depending on what your risk tolerance is. This can actually be a place of curiosity and fun and play. But what can trap us and can take us out of the game and maybe can send us backwards into that comfort field is if we indulge in feeling self-conscious, being self-critical, experiencing discomfort. And I want to talk a little bit about discomfort for a moment because it's part of growth. And I want you to think about the process of birth for a moment and a baby coming through the birth canal. Every single person on this planet went through that. Wow. That was probably a good amount of discomfort. It was discomfort for mama. It was a discomfort for baby. It was discomfort all the way around. And it led to the miracle of birth. So discomfort is part of navigating these darker spaces, the places that don't have the illumination of the light that we want and the light that we need. But it's helpful to be aware of these characteristics and these signposts, really. That's what they are signposts, because you can relax a little bit as you understand the different passageways and the different fields on the spiral of expansion. This is a place where we can step on our own dreams. And what I mean by that is, like, have you ever tried something new and you called your mother and you told her about it, or you floated it out to one of your sisters and immediately they came back at you with why it's not a good idea? Oh, right? We are subject to other people's opinions when we're in this field. And so I just want you to dial your awareness up around this, that it doesn't mean you don't have a good idea. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't follow your intuitive hit. It simply means you've left the place of comfort and you're now in the place of discomfort. And there's a little bit of discomfort that you're going to have to move through. And that discomfort comes in the form of people don't see our same vision. They maybe like us to stay where we are because it serves them in some way. This is actually a really big one. This could actually be a whole show. My husband did a painting. Gosh, I can't remember what the name of it is. Paul, if you're still watching, you can drop it in the chat. It was this bird that had perched itself on the top of all of these sticks that had been arranged sort of like in a tower. And I think it was called the delicate perch. And this bird is perched on the very top of this. And it's a very metaphoric painting because as you see it, you see how tentative this delicate perch is, like all of these twigs that have been resting on each other that have created this ladder, and this bird is standing at the top of it. And if that collapsed, then the bird would collapse too. But it's a metaphor because it's a bird that was at the top of that, and that bird has wings, right? And this is how you are. You have wings. You have the ability to fly, but you may have forgotten that. And so it's easy in the unknown field to get stuck. So some of the emotions that come up in this field include everything from fear to paralysis to doubt to shame. Insecurity, defensiveness is another big one. Again, because people are not going to necessarily agree when we step out onto the field of the unknown. Not everybody's going to be on board with that. That can lead to self-judgment. It can lead to panic. It can lead to feelings of inadequacy. And that can be overwhelming. And then we can get into that nervous system deregulation again. I'm here to tell you, you're safer than you think you are. You have an internal magnificence. Your soul, your spirit, your higher self. Your higher self knows what it's doing. And here's the thing, and here's why I'm even teaching about this spiral, is because The ego wants the information. The learned part of us wants the map that's going to spell it all out, that's going to give you all the steps, that's going to have every single thing that you need to know along the way. It's not reality. Life doesn't actually work that way. And the only way we can realize our full potential, the only way that we can manifest our dreams is going to require us to step into this unknown field. And there's something in here that I call the air of the leap. And the air of the leap is a magic elixir, is the way I like to think about this. Because when we make that leap, remember in Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, was that the first one? I think so. I don't know. Was that the second one or was that the first one? Anyways, Indiana Jones is, I think it maybe is the second one. I don't know. Anyways, I remember he's standing at the edge of the cliff and he has to get to the other side to save his father because he has to get to the Holy Grail on the other side of this giant cavern that he is like standing on the edge of. And you can hear his father like screaming in the background, Indy, help me, I'm dying. And all of a sudden, Indiana realizes it's a leap of faith. It's a leap of faith. And he sticks his foot out and voila, because it's Hollywood, magically the bridge appears and Indy walks across it and he gets the Holy Grail. Well, here's the thing. It works here too. When we are willing to make that leap into the unknown, our wings come out. Magic happens. And the magic elixir that is born inside of you is courage. We face our fear and it turns into courage. So that's what happens in the air of the leap. And courage is what we need to shuttle ourselves into the growth field. The Ark of the Covenant. Was that one of the names of the movies? I don't know if it was. Oh, maybe. Yeah. Anyways, you guys understand the metaphor that I'm using. And, you know, Indiana Jones, he's pretty hot. All right. So we make the leap. This courage grows inside of us. And here's the thing. And I see my clients struggling with this all the time. They're waiting for the courage to come so that then they can make the leap. Gigs up, guys. It's not going to happen that way. It can't happen that way because courage is something that is born from an inside place. And the gifts that it gives once we experience that inner courage, now we are open to learning. We're open to growth. We're open to transformation, to evolution. And here are the signposts that exist in the growth field. This is really such an important place because here's where we really begin to develop self-trust. And we discover our own gifts and our talents, and they come forward. They've always been in us. They're maybe lying dormant sometimes. You know, we have gifts that we were born with that you are here to share as your contribution to humanity. Holy smokes, look at the time. Oh, shit. We might not make it into the success field if I continue at this rate. There will be something solid for us to stand on, or we will be taught to fly. I love that, Paul Bond. Thank you. The growth zone, when we're in it, we know we're in it. And we know we're in it because we know that we are not a master. We are not completely proficient at whatever it is we are doing. We give ourselves permission to get it wrong. We give ourselves permission to fall down and get back up again. And I want to tell you, I think I feel like I'm in the growth field right now. Although, yeah, I might be in the comfort zone too. But, anyways, this is a very important place to navigate, for you to learn to navigate on your own, because each time you meet an obstacle and you relate to that obstacle as an opportunity, or you come butting up against a problem and you relate to that problem as a possibility, because it's guiding you into a place that you've never been before. It's leading you into something new. This is why it's the growth field. And, we can fall down and scrape our knee again and again. But every time we do, we learn something. And this is the spiral. We go up a little and we go out a little. And the more we do this, we notice that we are committed. We are committed. And it is in that commitment that we transfer ourselves into the success field. And in the success field, this is that yummy place where we feel like we're on top of the world. We do begin to have a sense of mastery, and we know what we're doing. We're having fun. We've gotten out of that learning phase, and there is a little bit of precision, I think is the word that I want, where that precision comes forward. We're in the flow. We feel inspired. These new gifts and talents that have come forward, like for me, speaking was a gift and a talent that came forward through me and for me as I faced fear after fear about using my voice, about speaking my truth, about getting up here without a script and just going for it. I don't know. Maybe nobody cares. Maybe nobody's watching. But I want to do that for myself, for my own enjoyment, for the experience that I'm having in my own life. This is a place, the success field is a place where we can begin to recognize who we are. We can let our authentic self-expression, the word authentic actually just got cut off my page because I was trying to blow this up. But you see, authentic self-expression is what is coming forward in the success field, because this is our naturalness. This is our naturalness. All right. Oh, let me see if I can remove that from the stage. What do you guys think of this? Is this helpful? Now that you have a better understanding of the spiral itself, you can kind of relax a little bit. And, the last part of this, and the bad news is that when we're in the success field long enough, there's like an integration period that happens where that sense of familiarity sneaks in, seeps in. And before we know it, we find ourselves right back in the comfort zone again. And here's the thing about the soul. The soul is not here for the status quo. The soul is here to grow and expand and learn. Because why? Because it's looking for wisdom. And that wisdom can only come through our life experience. It's not going to come from a book. It's not going to come from a class. It's not even going to come from listening to a podcast. It's going to come from you getting out there and being courageous and taking those leaps of faith with calculated risk, right? Don't go quitting your job after this. I don't know, maybe. It's up to you, right? You're in charge of your life. And when you recognize that you're in that comfort field, it's a sign, it's a clue, it's a portal that is nudging you for your next level of expansion, your next level of potential. Hmm. Love talking about the soul. Thank you. Hello, Tiffany. Welcome in from Hawaii. Thank you for being here. Paul Bond, I love all of your wisdom. All right. Well, last but not least, we have the celebration of love's alchemy. And this is our gentle pause to recognize the extraordinary magic that is woven through our everyday lives. And every episode, we take a moment of loving celebration for something that might seem ordinary or even contrary at first glance, but it holds within it a spark of brilliance as we celebrate and remind ourselves why we chose to take a body and come here to human land. From the sweetness of a juicy orange to the blessing of an emotional trigger, we turn our attention to the less obvious causes for celebration and the little things that we might take for granted. Through loving appreciation and gratitude of these things, we uplift ourselves and the planet. We uplift our vibration and tap into that power of love. And then we can send ripples of good juju out and around the planet. So today, it's going to be no surprise that I'm inviting us to give a little love to discomfort itself. And let's celebrate the squeeze of discomfort, that uncomfortable feeling that lets us know we have outgrown what used to fit, and we are being given the gift of the awareness that life is calling us for an expansion. We want our ego mind and our logical self to be in service to the higher part of our nature, to the higher part of our wisdom. You can do discomfort. As a matter of fact, on my YouTube channel, there's a great video. And I don't look pretty. I got my hair up. I've been crying, but I was like, had this spontaneous moment where I wanted to share the message that you can do discomfort. You can do uncomfortable. No, nobody likes to sign up for it. If you find yourself in it by chance, it's still a clue. But here's what I want you to remember inside of yourself. You are a powerful creator. You have gifts that you don't even know about yet because they are destined to be activated and to come forward at specific and precise times in your life that are in accordance with you traveling the spiral of expansion. So they need you to be willing to make that leap into the unknown. It's part of why you're here. It's part of your growth. Our next episode, I have no idea what it's going to be about. I think maybe we'll coach somebody. If anybody's here and you would like to receive free coaching, drop your name in the chat and we'll get in touch with you, or you can email me at donna@donnabond.com. We're going to bring you live on stage with me and support you in maybe working through how it is you want to get out of your comfort field so that you can get on with your life, your gifts, your contribution to the whole. We are now closing our space together. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for being you. We are now closing all energetic lines of communication between any of us, closing all open portals, gateways, channels, agreements, and lines of communication between any of us and the spirit world. We are grateful and we say thank you. I am now closing this show, Spiritual Ambition, with love, in love, for love, by love, as love. Thank you for being here. Much love.